Has someone ever said something to you that absolutely set off a trigger in your mind or your body and made you just want to lash out and respond or defend yourself? Or have you ever had times where someone is really rude or negative or limiting towards you and you just don't know how to let go of it and how to respond in the best way for you and for the entire situation? So I've had this come up with a few clients the last few days, and an example that actually came up in my own life yesterday. So I felt like this is the universe telling me I need to discuss it and share it with you and help you navigate that in your own life as well, so that when these things happen, because we all know we can't control everyone else or everything outside of ourselves, but when these things happen, you know how to control yourself in the best way so that you can move forward. So I'm going to be diving into that right now. Welcome back. My name is Kara Michelle. I'm a holistic life coach and a Reiki master, and I am here to help you live your truth. I am so grateful to have you here today. And this is something that I feel like obviously everyone can relate to at some point in their life. And I know I used to get caught in this place all the time, and it wasn't until I started learning about mindfulness and I started studying a lot of different Eastern techniques, like spirituality wise and mindfulness wise, that I realized how much I was letting other people dictate my own mood and my energy each day. Because when we let someone else trigger us, or when we let them impact us, we're giving them power and control over our mind and our life. And I know you've been there before, where someone has said something and it sets off a spark in you or brings about this emotion or this hurt or this anger, and then you've ruminated over it and you've spent the rest of your day kind of having it keep popping up at you of, oh, they said this, and like you're feeling that energy and that negativity around what they've said to you. And meanwhile, they're off living their life. You are the only one being affected by what they said. And I think as empaths, especially if you're an empath, comment down below, say, I'm an empath. I am too, so I feel ya. But especially as empaths, we really carry these things and continue to hold on to them so tightly and feel that that is so true. And we get hurt by the fact that they're off living their own life and they're not still thinking about it. And how could they have done something or said something so hurtful and be totally okay with it? That is like soul crushing to an empath. I get it, I know that, but we can't control them. All we can control is ourselves and our personal response and our personal energy and takeaway from the situation. So I am so grateful to the mindfulness teachings, to the Buddhist way, the Taoist way, and different Eastern techniques just around releasing. I mean, Osho has an amazing book called The Way of the White Cloud, and it's really all about understanding that thoughts are just like clouds and letting things just move through. We just accept it. If we see a cloud in the sky, we accept it for what it is, and we know that it's going to keep moving. We know that it's just passing by. And this is the same with thoughts. This is the same with negativity or like people who say mean, limiting, hurtful things. If we attach to it and we cling to that and hold on to it, well, now we're keeping it in our mind, body, soul. Now we're keeping it in our energy field, and it is going to cause dis-ease. It is going to cause even more problems and tension and anxiety or anger or negative charge, right? Because we're clinging so tightly and holding on to it. But if we let it pass through, we just see it, accept it, let it go like it's a white cloud, it's gone. It's not going to continue to carry that charge or that negativity for us. So as always, this comes down to step number 1, awareness and catching yourself. And something I like to ask myself when these things happen is, is this worth my energy? Is this worth me holding on to? And I am 100% human. So there are times where it's harder or easier to let go of these things. And yesterday I found myself at a yoga class And I had just checked my phone before putting it away for the class, and I saw that I had this strange message from someone on LinkedIn, and it was super, super negative and like kind of attacking me, to be honest. And like, I didn't open it fully, but I saw it. Obviously, my initial reaction was like, oh, what are they saying? Or what did I do? Or why am I like, why are they mad at me? You know? And the inner part of me felt really hurt and really bad. And like, what did I do? And, you know, like, I don't like this. And at that same time, the defensive part of me went, well, they're wrong. And like, I need to prove myself, or I need to explain and send a message back. And look how immature they're responding to this situation by speaking that way. Like, they're like, how does that make them, like, why do they think they're so high and mighty and they're talking down to me? And like, it's so easy for our minds to do this, to create these stories. And it was almost like, well, this person is a life coach too. What kind of life coach are they if this is how they react to things like that? Like, that doesn't sound very loving or compassionate or responsible, you know? And all of a sudden now, my mind has created a story around who they are, what their intentions were, what they were thinking, and what they're saying. And this is a perfect example, because when someone says something to you, you are the one creating the story. You are the one creating the attachment around what it means, what they're actually getting at. You don't know their intention. You don't know where they're coming from or what else has happened to them today. You don't know the tone of voice, especially when it's over like social media and stuff like that. It's different in person, but you still don't know 100% of the story. But if you attach to it, you're just causing more problems for yourself. So I had this initial response where all these feelings were going through my body, and part of me wanted to respond and kind of stand up for myself. Part of me wanted to defend myself and kind of call them out for how immature and childish they were acting. But then here's where like the work comes in, is then my higher self, or like the part of me who has done all this work and understands how this kind of goes, she came in and was like, Kara, is this worth any of your time or energy right now? Not at all. Like, yes, I could send a response, I could defend myself or say something, I could make an excuse, I could do anything to handle that situation, but is even any of that worth my time and energy? Then I'm going to be a little bit nervous, like, oh, now what are they going to say back to me? Or, well, yeah, what's their retaliation going to be? And then it's like, how does that reflect on me if I'm lashing back out at them or calling them immature or childish? Well, then I've stooped down to their level, and then I'm playing down here instead of rising above and staying up here with just letting it pass by and not being attached to what's going on. So this all happened in the span of a couple minutes, and I went back to my yoga mat and I sat down there, and like the thought kind of flashed in my head again, and I went, no, it's okay, it's all good, let it go. And I watched as it kind of floated by like a cloud. And then partway through the yoga practice, it was like that, you know that feeling, I know you know it, where your gut kind of goes like, oh, because you have that reminder to that pain or that hurt or that thing someone said to you that didn't feel good. And you go, oh, like it just hurts you, and you kind of feel like that instinct. And so that came back, and then immediately I was like, Kara, let it go. Look at this. I am creating my own suffering right now by even thinking about this. Like, had I not received this message, I would have been really enjoying the whole moment, everything. I wouldn't have had even these little thoughts or this little story in my head, this thing that had been created. But this one little tiny message from a stranger over the interwebs is like affecting me, and that's not necessary. But I had been choosing to let it affect me. So by seeing that and feeling that feeling, and then I went, let it go again, let it pass through like a cloud, focus on all the good things. That changes your energy, that changes your focus and your vibration to something a lot more positive and beneficial for you. So we've all heard the saying about rising above and like don't stoop down to their level. And there is nothing that could be more true than that. A lot of times we want to defend ourselves. We want to make sure we're seen in the right light, or we want to defend our honor, right? Like, oh, I didn't do that, or I meant for this, or I'm better than you think I am, or whatever it is that we're trying to prove or stand up for ourselves for. But in all honesty, yes, there is a time and place to defend yourself. I'm not someone who's just saying like fall over and just be picked on and that's okay. But if it's not a situation, if there's really no winning in the situation, why are you putting energy into it? And why are you letting it take up your thoughts or your focus? And I think that's the main takeaway here, because there's always going to be things we can't control. There's always going to be things that cause upset or make us feel bad. But the question is, am I going to give my energy and attention to this, or am I going to be mindful and detach from it, just see it, accept it, let it go, versus holding it, examining it, creating stories about it, creating responses and retaliations, focusing on it more, feeling sick, anxious, angry, thinking about it more, feeling sick, anxious, angry, staying in this really negative place. How can I just let it go? And how can I just relax, detach from the story? And yes, my example maybe is a bit different because it was with a stranger, but I'm no stranger to this happening with very close friends and individuals who I have great relationships with, who have said things that hurt me as well. And the same thing always comes back to, are you going to hold on to it and continue to believe that, or like stay in that energy? Or are you going to just let it go and realize that it's not serving you at all to carry it the way you're carrying it? Whatever needs to be done, whether you need to send a message to them, speak up for yourself, defend yourself, say one thing, whether you need to just send out some forgiveness and say, I'm letting this go, I forgive you, I forgive myself, I'm free from this, whatever you need to do. But there needs to be a separation and a detachment, or else you continue to hold that and stay stuck in that place. So bringing the awareness in, as always, coming back to the thoughts around, does this actually serve me? Is this helping me? Is this benefiting me in any way? And if it's not, how can I choose to let it go? Because right now I'm choosing to carry it, and that's not fun, and it's not healthy, and it's not good for me. So really do those things. I don't really have a way to sum this up any better than what I just said. So doing that, letting it go, not letting the story take control of you, not being so stuck in like defending yourself or proving you're right or proving them wrong. Like, we don't always need, it's like that argument or that thing about with married couples, like, do you need to be right all the time? Are there arguments where you can just, like, is it better sometimes to just step back and say, all right, honey, and just let it be, compared to arguing and standing for your side? Sometimes it's so much easier for both people, but especially for yourself and your energy, and to take away that drainage and negativity, it's easier to just take a step back, accept it for what it is, and let it go and move on. And now you get to move on to the good things, the laughter, the joy, the fun, all these other things that you want to be focused on. So when these times come up, when people hurt you or do you wrong or say something negative, instead of attaching to the story and holding on to it so tightly, create this awareness. Ask yourself that question. Is this serving me? Do I really need to carry this or create more energy around this and more negativity? Or can I just accept it, realize that I don't need to hold on to it? When you hold on to it, you create more truth to it, because you're creating more of the story, you're putting more focus on it. So don't do that. Let it go. Letting it go, and like it's not a part of you. There's no story there anymore to hold on to. It's just gone. It's like they said something came out of their mouth, It's in one ear, out one other, and you've let it go, it's gone. There's no attachment, so there's no story being created for yourself. There's nothing to defend. It's just like, yeah, whatever. So that is your moral for today. I'll leave that here. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, please let me know if you liked this video, if you want more in this topic in the future. And if you haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and let me know in the comments below if you've ever had a situation like this before with someone where you really, whether it was something hurtful they said or negative, or this attachment was created and you really let this story get the best of you. So thanks again for being here, and I will see you tomorrow.